What's up, everybody? I'm sitting on the floor because I'm tired. It has been a really long week. I just wanted to come on my channel and talk a little bit about theater today and an experience that I had recently with a local theater. I've spoken about this on my channel in the arts and crafts video. Wait, I have it. In the Pride Arts and Crafts video that I did with Shane, we spoke a little bit about what it's like to be trans actors. And at that time, I spoke openly about this, but I've been really struggling with my local theater scene recently. It's been sort of disheartening to see such a lackluster offering of plays and musicals. A lot of them are really gendered. A lot of them include sort of outdated material, in my opinion, that I was like, I can't audition for this because I'm going to have to choose. Do you know what? That's how I feel. When I go and audition for something like a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, I feel like I need to choose a gender. I need to go in and say, okay, I'm going to display myself as a woman and be like viewed completely as a woman throughout this entire process. Or I need to go in and say, do you know what? I'm going to be a man and I'm going to be cross-dressing. And then everyone will just view me as a woman wearing men's clothing, which is how I feel a lot of the time in theater, honestly. I feel like rather than actually actively saying, do you know what? This person is non-binary and they are now in our show. And that means that we now have a non-binary actor/character in this piece. They just sort of squish me into whatever the most near and convenient shape is. I feel that a lot of the time. But without going too far off the main topic, I sort of randomly found an audition for a musical that I really love and thought, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. I know that I keep saying on this channel openly that I've quit musical theater, but I'll make an exception for certain shows, and ultimately was cast as a really great role. I was offered a really great role. And I said to myself, do you know what? The conditions are all good. I am doing a piece of theater that I really love. I've been offered a role that is really going to challenge me, but I think I'm going to be really amazing in. And dang, this could not be any better. And then I scanned the cast list, sort of apropos of nothing. The director had decided to make a transphobic casting decision that had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with the source material. And basically what it boiled down to was a pair of cis men had been cast in men's roles, and they were also going to be doubling in traditionally women's roles. This is often done in the theater with transphobic outcomes. The roles that are done this way are almost invariably funny, ridiculous, evil. That's sort of it. So I called the director, we spoke about this, I made my feelings and position clear as a trans actor. Well, what it boiled down to was they had a vision for this specific concept that they wanted to realize and were not going to change their mind or the casting. So I turned the role down. Oh boy. And then I had a lot of feelings about it. Like a lot of feelings. I was really, 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 really upset. And I was upset for a few reasons. Some are maybe obvious. I was upset because I was devalued as a performer, and not just as a trans performer, but of course that as well. I am a really good actor. I'm a really good singer, even though I'm a bit cagey about that because of my dark musical theater past. It was really hurtful to hear this director say, you're an actor, you're a person, you're a trans person actor that I've cast in the show, but it is more important for me to fulfill my artistic vision, even though it is transphobic, than to have you in this show. Because the show is still happening. The first rehearsal was this week. I wasn't there because I'm not in the show. But I've got to assume that I'm the only person who did not accept their role on this basis. And so now not only is the transphobic concept staying, to my knowledge, the only trans actor potentially that was in the show has dropped out, and now it's a cast full of cis people doing a transphobic concept. So I find that really upsetting. And something else that was kind of upsetting to me was very few people from the Long Island theater scene have said anything to me about it. Of course, it's always tricky with like social media and online stuff, but even a lot of my actor friends, a lot of people would see the story and put a little heart, but no one really asked me if I was okay or how I felt or if I needed anything or like what I wanted to do in response, which made me feel very alone. And I'm still deciding what I want to do because it never feels like enough. Everything that I do to stop transphobia in Long Island theater communities, it doesn't feel like enough because a lot of the time it feels like it's just me doing it. And even basic stuff like theaters are still putting out gendered casting calls with man and woman in it, or worse, male and female. Or there was a show that I auditioned for this summer and I was not cast in it. I was a little upset. And then one of my friends was like, oh, well, they only cast men as men and women as women. And I was like, okay, well then I couldn't have been in it because neither of those are my genders. I literally could not have been cast. And I honestly almost didn't even make this video, but I was thinking about my documentary, weirdly enough. Another thing from my documentary that Shahid said towards the end, he says, you know, this is my right. When something happens, when I see something happening before my eyes that is not okay, I have to say, this is wrong. I have to stand up and say, this is wrong, and I need to talk about it in my town, in my county, in my community. And so I have to say it. What happened last week was so not okay. It's unacceptable. And we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this because otherwise it's not going to change. And I'm going to continue going into rooms that are transphobic and leaving them harmed as an actor and a person, which is not okay. And I am so tired of reaching out to the Long Island theater community at large, of being in meetings of artistic staff at different local theaters, of being friends with people who are in leadership positions of community theaters all across Long Island. They know me. They've spoken to me about these issues, and then just seeing the transphobia and trans exclusion in their organizations, in their show choices, in their casting policies. It is like, what are we doing here? And it is literally one issue. If you know me as an artist and a theater maker, you'll know that this is not the only issue that I'm advocating for in the theatrical arena in terms of inclusivity. It is one of the ones that is closest to my heart because it personally affects me, but it is one issue. And this is my one experience at one job. So I guess the only question that I have, and it's a question that I have for myself as well, is what do we do? What do we do? Because it can't go on like this. And it was interesting because before I auditioned for this musical, when the whole thing went down, I had been posting on my Instagram story about how there was kind of like a lack of things to audition for. This is what I was thinking. I'll read it to you. Being a non-binary performer on Long Island is hilarious because people are like, what are you auditioning for? I really encourage people to just view promotional images from all of the theater companies. All. And think about how gendered they are. Literally just the images, the costumes, the male and female ensembles. What is the point, honestly? I believe theater these days should reflect aspirations of society. What can we be at our best? Theater that reifies problematic social norms is actually violent, in my opinion. And theater that is only interested in showing trauma or violence towards marginalized communities misses the point entirely. Especially if the creative team / leadership is helmed by folks not from those communities. What can we be at our best? So I would encourage anyone who's watching this video, especially if you are involved in an arts organization or theater organization, if you're in a position of leadership or decision-making, ask yourself that question. And then answer it. answer it actively. On Sunday, I am just going to share some of my old acting with you. I realized that I don't actually share a lot of my acting on this channel, but I do have footage from me playing Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet last summer, so I'm going to share that, and I will see you soon. Bye.